Welcome to the All Four Downs college football version here in the CMG Central. I'm Ovi1, and man, I'm riding solo, man. And the reason why is because Joe cannot be here today because of medical condition. I just want to say, hey, my prayers are out to you and to the family, and I'm hopeful that you will have a speedy recovery. So get well soon, my friend, and I can't wait till you are back with us next week to talk some more about college football. But college football, man, is almost at the door's almost closing, right? Because this weekend is the conference championship, and then after that, we're getting set for the bowl games, and the bowl game starts December 16th. But before that, there are two games already, bowl games already scheduled. But the rest of it is during the selection show will determine who are going to be the final four, and also all the other bowl games that's happening. But let's not get too ahead of ourselves because on this episode, not only I'm going to talk about the top 25, but more focusing on the top six. Okay. And I'm just curious on why a certain team is on top of somebody else. Okay. I'm also going to talk about the Heisman Trophy winner. Who should it be? And then, of course, the picks for this weekend as we get set. And lastly, talking about bowl games, what about the players that are already trying to opt out? That is a big concern. I got that. And that is my takeaway at the final whistle. But let's get tuned into a first down real quick. And these are my rankings last Sunday that I put up. I had Georgia number 1, Michigan number 2, TCU number 3, USC 4. That does match to the college football committee. It also matches with Ohio State at number 5. Okay. But what I am wondering about is like, why is Tennessee behind Alabama? As I got them at number 6, because head to head, Tennessee did beat Ohio State. Tennessee did beat Alabama. Now, I don't understand why that Alabama's at 6. Why? Because Hendon Hooker is out? I don't think it makes a difference which quarterback is there behind the snap. The thing is that Tennessee outright beat, okay? They beat Alabama. It was a team effort. It wasn't like that one person that went ahead and won it for the team. Yes, Hendon Hooker is a very talented quarterback. Yes, he's a dual threat. But you got to keep that in mind that there's also 10 other people on offense, and there's another 11 on the other side of the ball that play defense. Oh, and let me not forget, you have special teams. So collectively as a team, they defeated Alabama. But yet you're still pushing Alabama at number 6, predicting that maybe 2 of the top 4 teams may fall, and then give an excuse for a first 2-loss team to be in the Final Four. I'm a little bit bothered by that. That's a disrespect to the hard work that Tennessee put in. And on top of all that, they went ahead and shut out Vanderbilt 56-0 to prove the point that they can still handle business. I'm just in shock. And once again, it's narrowing it down. I got it. But in the fact that let's stop pushing it, man. Look, USC well deserved to be at number 4, right? And I think that the final recipe to stay in the top 4, they have to be the team that they lost to in the regular season. I got it. TCU, nobody was giving them that respect to TCU, similar to what happened with Cincinnati back in the days, right? They got a conference championship. Michigan, as I told you so many times, that Michigan is better than Ohio State. And yet I get bombarded because everyone's claiming Ohio State's better and this and that. Well, didn't I tell you that Michigan had a better defense? Oh, and Michigan won with a backup running back who ran all over Ohio State. You didn't see that coming. Next time you need to listen to me. You got to listen to this podcast. All four downs. OV1 right here. Telling you from the beginning. Michigan is better than Ohio State. But we'll get to that. And of course, the number one team in the nation is the Georgia Bulldogs. You got this. We know this. All right. A little rough start at the beginning of the season, but overall, they are number one. But I'm still bothered by this Alabama. Why are you pushing them? Stop doing the politics. Stop doing favoritism. Alabama don't need to be in the college football playoffs at all. Tennessee outright did what they had to do and beat Alabama. And they're tied. And yet in the standings, Tennessee is ahead of Alabama. But yeah, you want to vote them in ahead of Tennessee. Oh, that's fine. That's fine. But it's not fair. And that's why we have that argument of trying to get 12 teams in the college football playoffs. And here it is. Here's my evidence on all this. You ready? Because Alabama is at number 6, Tennessee at number 7. So why not do the same with Oregon State and Oregon? Oregon's at 15. Oregon State's at 15 and Oregon is at 16 because Oregon State defeated Oregon. All right. Oregon dropped tremendously. Okay. It was in the top 10. All of a sudden, now they're at number 16. Oh, okay. Ain't that similar to Alabama and Tennessee? Just throwing it out there for you. Okay. Just throwing it out there for you. But should it goes to 12 teams. Now, I had to do some background check on this one, okay? And this is a prediction. This is not going to happen, okay? And, of course, I'm going to get a lot of backlash. Oh, you don't know what you're talking about. In history, okay, and I had to do a lot of research on this, okay? In history, Alabama has lost to Utah. Utah owns Alabama, even when Alabama was good. Absolutely. Okay. Kansas State owns Tennessee. I didn't even know this. Okay. Didn't know that. But narrowing it down, I would have seen that the championship goes against Georgia and TCU in the finals, with Georgia winning all the way. Just like they're going to win all the way this year. It's going to happen. The best defense of the nation is going to win it again because defense wins championships. Okay. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. Second down. Here we go. Ryan Day equals Jim Harbaugh versus Urban Meyer. Why did I do this? Because it just seems like the time that Jim Harbaugh was the head coach, he did not have the recipe to defeat Ohio State when Urban Meyer was the head coach. Now Ryan Day is going solo. Okay. And now 2 games in a row or 2 seasons in a row, Ryan Day is unable to capitalize and defeat Michigan. The tables has turned. Okay. Ryan Day got him. This guy was a quarterback coach for the Eagles and the 49ers. And he's doing well, except for the big games. He's not able to succeed. He hasn't had an undefeated record. So there's a lot of emphasis. Oh, Ryan Day, Ohio State. Y'all want to choose this school, which is, I know, got very talented. They do recruit very well. But when the game counts, they don't win. Okay. 4 full seasons with Ohio State, and he's never finished undefeated. And the only way you're going to win a championship from the Big Ten, you got to finish undefeated. Okay. The only team to come close so far, Jim Harbaugh took Michigan all the way, but lost in the college football playoffs. It happens. Okay. It happens. But I tell you, okay, there's something going on with Ryan Day. He got the curse and he's not going to make it. Okay. You're going to win a lot. You're going to win a lot. And every year we're going to hear Ohio State, the Buckeyes, the Ohio State. And then I'm going to tell you, the Ohio State didn't make it. Okay. 2 back-to-back with Michigan. And what's going to happen when USC and UCLA enters the Big Ten? Ohio State is going to be exposed. Okay. And then we're going to be talking about, Ohio State needs a new head coach. It's going to happen. Ryan Day. Everything stops with Ryan Day. Okay. I want to be surprised. Maybe 2 more seasons, we're going to start saying Ryan Day's on the hot seat, because he won't be able to beat Jim Harbaugh and the Michigan Wolverines. Coaches carousel, talking about Ryan Day and Ohio State. Yeah, he's safe. He's going to be all right. The Michigan and the Ohio State rivalry is always going to live up the hype for the Big Ten, because those are the only 2 schools that are good enough. Okay. You can't include Penn State because Penn State can't handle nothing. And the rest of the Big Ten, they're garbage. You know it. They look like the ACC. Bottom line. Okay. But looking at this coach's carousel, Luke Fickell is taking over Wisconsin. He's leaving Cincinnati. Okay. Matt Rhule took over in Nebraska. All right. So that's 2 awesome head coaches coming back. Well, for Matt Rhule is coming back to college football from the Carolina Panthers. But Luke Fickell leaving Cincinnati, that's a good fit for those 2 coaches. And I hope that in that side of the division of the Big Ten, it will elevate. Okay. Kenny Dillingham just took over Arizona State. Hugh Freeze is going to be signing with Auburn. And just found out today that Trent Dilfer, yes, the former quarterback, Super Bowl quarterback of the Baltimore Ravens back in year 2000, will be the head coach of UAB Blazers. All right, others out there, UNLV, Georgia Tech, Colorado, University of South Florida, Charlotte, Cincinnati, now head coach is vacant, Tulsa, Texas State, Florida Atlantic, Stanford, and Liberty. Okay, so who knows how many more head coaching jobs will be out there. But as now, what you see in front of you is what I mentioned, like these colleges are looking. And then the biggest topic is, will Deion Sanders leave Jackson State to take one of these schools? That'd be pretty interesting to see where he could go from there. A lot of people just think that Colorado might be a good fit for him. We should see. You know, I would love to see Deion Sanders take over one of those schools in the Pac-12. That'd be pretty amazing to see how he could transform that school into a winning school. All right, 3rd down coming up. Here we go. All right, Heisman Trophy predictions. Listen, if I was to be one of the voters, I cannot help but say, look, from what I've seen the last couple of 2 weeks, is Caleb Williams. He is making it happen. This guy making it true. You can see it. He's the main piece of the pie of a USC offense. Without Caleb Williams, I don't think USC will be where they're at right now. Okay, even though they suffered a loss to Utah, and they're gonna have their rematch, but Caleb Williams is a talented guy. We've seen him when he was with Oklahoma. And Lincoln Riley knows how to coach these quarterbacks. Okay. He has a couple that have won the Heisman under his belt. So there's no reason why we could say right now Caleb Williams should be the front runner to win the Heisman. Okay. CJ Stroud out. Bryce Young out. Stetson Bennett's name, I don't know why we're mentioning him, because he's not an elite quarterback. Okay. Max Duggan's a freshman. He's going to make things happen. He will have time to win one, and he deserves it. Michael Penix Jr. Okay, we didn't see much of him, but Caleb Williams, out of those 6 names right there from the names from the DraftKings, all right, Caleb Williams is favorite, and I agree. But let's not forget Hendon Hooker. Hendon Hooker had the hardest schedule of any quarterback in the nation. Being in the SEC is one, but to go against six top 25 teams in that schedule and to perform how he performed, okay, you cannot discredit how Hendon Hooker has done his job. And yes, he is out for the season because of injury, but I will pick him as a Heisman winner because without him, look, Tennessee won't be where they at either. Okay. And that momentum, the way it came over last week, they answered the bell. It was like, look, we're doing this for Hendon Hooker. That team consolidated, they collaborated, and they made it happen. These guys persevered. Okay. You got to respect that. So if there was any vote, I would vote Hendon Hooker. Okay. Yeah, injuries happens. But then again, hey, if you're going to look at that way and look at longevity, Caleb Williams is the man, and he should win the Heisman. So if you had voted a long time ago before the season started that Caleb Williams was going to be the winner, then you would be making a lot of money. So right now, it's kind of too late to put it in, being that it's minus 2,500. You ain't going to get that much money in return. All right, fourth down. You ready? Here we go. These are the games that's coming up this weekend. And on Friday, December 2nd, you'll see the first two championship games, Utah versus USC and North Texas at UTSA. Okay. Oh, this is fabulous. I'm gonna tell you that right now. I am really leaning for Utah to beat USC. I just don't understand what kind of maneuvers can they do to have that redemption to UC to get at Utah. I think Utah's defense is solid and they know how to control the flow of the game. That's why I'm picking Utah to defeat USC. Now, if that was to happen, guarantee that Ohio State will enter the college football playoffs. Okay. North Texas versus UTSA. I got North Texas as an upset. UTSA, they were winning consecutive games, but the last few games they haven't been playing up to par. I'm taking North Texas on the upset. They will be playing at the Alamo Dome, and of course, that is probably UTSA's home field advantage because they're in San Antonio. But North Texas are no strangers when it comes to bowl games. They're no strangers when it comes to playoffs. They have that experience. And that's why I'm taking North Texas. All right. Moving on to Saturday's game, Kansas State versus TCU. Just TCU is going to win. I got TCU locked in and will remain in the college football playoffs. Toledo versus Ohio. I'm taking the home team on this one. Ohio is favorite, taking them all the way. Coastal Carolina at Troy. Coastal Carolina is not playing good football, not as of late. All right. McCall will not be the starting quarterback. I will pick Troy to win that game. UCF versus Tulane for the American Championship game. Look, Tulane's favorite for this game, but I tell you what, UCF, that is the team expecting upset in New Orleans. Fresno State versus Boise State. You got to take Boise State. They're number one in that conference for a reason. They're going to continue being number one. The SEC Championship, LSU versus Georgia. Don't sweat it. It's in Atlanta. Home field advantage. LSU got nothing on Georgia. That defense will prevail. As long as George Stetson protects the ball, they got no worries. Okay? Now, to sound cocky or anything like that, but this game, you got to pick Georgia to win. The SWAC championship game, Southern at Jackson State. I'm picking Jackson State, man. I'm going for Dion on this one. The ACC championship, Clemson versus North Carolina. A conference that total disaster from the end. Okay? There's nothing great coming out of ACC. Okay? So if I was a betting man, I'd probably go over on points on this one. So check the over-under because I feel like this is going to be a high-score game. Clemson, North Carolina is going to be a great battle to the finish. I won't be surprised if this game goes to overtime. I don't know if the North Carolina head coach will be aggressive like he did 3 years ago when he went for it on fourth down and made it. And for that 2-point conversion, But I got a feeling that this game could go to overtime. But I am picking Clemson to win. The Big Ten Championship, Purdue versus Michigan. Purdue, they're a dangerous team. All right. They're the spoiler makers for a reason, right? That's why they got that nickname. But not so fast. Not in the Big Ten championship. Not when this game counts the most for Michigan. Because Michigan at number 2, they can't afford to lose because when it comes to the Big Ten, when it comes to Michigan, they're playing with fire should they lose this game. They're playing with fire. But I am taking Michigan and I'm taking the spread, whatever spread they give them, because Michigan's going to win big. If they can handle Ohio State, they could crush Purdue. Bottom line. And that's my picks for this weekend. All right. Moving on to the final whistle. I got a bone to pick. I really do. I got a bone to pick. And I'm going to start off with quotes like this. And this is from Brent Venables, who is the head coach of Oklahoma. I'm not a big fan of it. First and foremost, it's about being committed to something and finishing what you started. At some point, it's got to mean something. And he's talking about players opting out for the postseason play. And I'm against it. At least in my heart and my guts telling me I'm against it because you played all season long just to opt out. I have not known any football player that's a star football player in the NFL right now that decided, you know what, I'm going to opt out because I don't want to get hurt. Okay. I've seen quarterbacks get hurt. Look at Tua Tagovailoa, right? And I'm sorry if I mispronounce his last name, but he's the starting quarterback of the Miami Dolphins. He got hurt. He had hip surgery, still got drafted. He's starting right now. And he's doing very well with the Miami Dolphins. So when you guys say about, I'm opting out to prepare myself for the football season and stuff like that, only 1% of you that in the draft is going to be something. Everybody else is going to be a bunch of followers. Now you're talking about where you rank in the draft and this and that. Look, this is the best part of being in a bowl game because the committee is comparing your school with another school. And it's an opportune time to shine. You're not going to wait for the Senior Bowl, but what's the purpose of the Senior Bowl? I don't get it. All right? I'm just saying you got the Columbine, you got all this and that. Look, I believe that the most valuable player to get drafted should be playing in those bowl games to see if you really got what it takes to go against. Look, I'm going to use the Big Ten as an example because there's only 2 schools in the Big Ten that are worth it, Michigan and Ohio State. Everybody else, there's no value. So when you're crushing your opponents, are you really, really exposing your athleticism, your talent? Now you're going against another school that's going to be averaging the same level as you to go in the bowl game. That's the time you want to show that you are the real deal. That's just me. That's the competitiveness. Okay. Look at Mississippi State head coach. He says, you've got an obligation to the place that helped build and develop you and finish out in the bowl. Finish it. Finish it. I had to Bucky Jones, who is a former Syracuse player who also played for the New England Patriots. Okay. And he played in the Super Bowl. And he said the best memory of it was pretty much in high school. After that was college. Okay. The most memories was the younger days because they had meaning, because it got you to the next level. Okay. You got an obligation. Stick with it. Finish it with your team. I'm not saying stay there for all 4 years till you senior, whatever. I mean, I know when you're a junior, you're eligible to go. All right, that's fine. But if you're going to start the season, finish it. Now, on the other hand, Jay Billis, all right, who covers college basketball, he had something to say about this. And he goes and says, coaches complain about players opting out of bowl games, and 2 coaches agreed to new jobs while their teams are competing for a spot in the college football playoffs. This can't be a good for the industry. How can college presidents condone such interference with coaches under contract? Integrity? Nah. And now I understand that point of view because when you want your players to stay all the way to play in the bowl games, okay, why don't the head coaches stick it out all the way to the end as well? Why can't they? Because money talks, right? And so that's how the athletes are thinking as well. Money talks. My value in the draft, I want to get picked closer to round one, right? So I understand that. I totally understand that. And now that quote was back in 2021. Okay. But to tell you this, he has a great point because we're seeing it right now. Coaches just jumping ship to something else, and the season's not even over. Lincoln Riley did the same thing last year. Left Oklahoma, didn't even coach the bowl game, and went to USC. That's sad. That's sad when you recruited them and then you left them hanging. So if you could do that, then why complain about the players? But as a fan, I would love to see those players take it out to the end. I want to know if that school is legitimately the best. Okay. I really do. I got some comments coming in. Frank Cuesta from Speaking of Real podcast says, I agree. You need to finish what you start. I got you, brother. I hear you. I feel the same way. And if I'm a sports better and I'm always picking this team, and I know this team could win this bowl game to a particular opponent, now these players are not playing, that changes everything. So our analytics is going to be accurate? It's not. We've seen this all the time, all throughout the years. Like these bowls don't mean anything. And then people want to get creative about let's have 12 teams to be in the college football playoffs. Let's do this, let's do that. So we keep the players to play. Look, I understand what you're trying to do, but why not other incentives? You got the NIL, okay? That players now can make money. Use that, okay? Use that. Let's get the NCAA. Let's get some rules. Let's get something. Look, if you're committed, you got to stay to the end. Make that contract. Okay? You say players should get paid. They are getting paid. They're getting sponsored. Sponsors should be doing something as well to keep these players to play. Because at the end, man, the best sport right now that we can see in football is in college football. It's not the NFL. There's too much politics going on in the NFL. There's too much blown whistles and yada yada that stops play and everything else. I mean, look, it looks very fugly over there. Yeah, good word to use that right there. But in college football, to be accurate, to represent your school from you started to win a bowl game should matter the most. It's like winning the championship. And yeah, if your school is not selected for the college football playoffs, that's okay. You have an opportunity to make a difference. Show your talent. I really do strongly believe that a football player can show their talent in a bowl game than trying to do the Columbine, to try to do the Senior Bowl and this and that. You know, look, anyone could get hurt at any given time. It's part of the game. You could get hurt even when you're going home, even walking. Things happen. But all I'm trying to say is that players, in my opinion, should stick it out to the end. Support those head coaches that do stay with their teams. Okay? But at the same time, I understand money talks always. Always. But is it really best for the interest of college football to have players just opt out? What meaning is that for? And why, as fans, we're going to waste our time watching television or going to the games if these players that we try to follow through don't play? Just think about it. I'm Obi-Wan, and I appreciate it. Thank you for watching the All Four Downs podcast. And once again, to my friend Joe Aguirre, I hope that you have a safe recovery out there. And I hope you're back next week. And for everybody, let's join along with Joe. All right. Because no matter where he's at right now, I know he's going to pop up and put on that TV this weekend. And we're going to enjoy some football. Absolutely. Take care, everyone. Until next week, let's do this.